Hello, 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 and welcome back to March May's Midlife Dolly Crisis. And I don't know what it's like where you are, but here summer is gone. It is a distant memory. So I thought to try and recapture those heady days of summer, we would open a doll who is sort of bright and exciting and smells of strawberries, but not quite. It's basically Heavenly Strawberry, which is a Blythe doll. So she was released, I think, October of 2024. I've had her since then. I bought her from Junie originally. Obviously, I've not opened her yet. Obviously, I'm rectifying that now. I think the main reason I'm opening her is because there was a recent doll drop on Junie for a doll called Sailing Dominique. And she has a translucent face, and this girl has a translucent face, and I was kind of reminded that I had her. So I thought, you know what, I should probably get her open now rather than leaving it until next year. So let's get her open together and see what we think of her. Okay, so first off, we're going to have a quick look at the packaging for this doll. As you can see, she's pretty much in the sort of the standard box, in that we have a window and that we've got pattern all over the box. So generally the packaging will match the theme of the doll. So obviously here we've got lots of sort of strawberries, and we have these white flowers, which I've been told that the white flowers are actually the flowers that the strawberry plant will produce. And if you have a look all the way around, essentially the pattern is just the same all over. It's quite a nice pattern, and obviously it goes with the design of the doll. Some of the colours are a bit odd, I guess, because they don't particularly match what she's wearing or any of the stuff in there, but you know what, it's the doll that's the most important thing anyway. So without further ado, I'm going to get her open and out, and we'll have a look at her and the accessories. Hi, so I'm very part way from getting the doll out, but I just wanted to show you this. So this is that kind of clover thing that you can press out and put onto this doll stand when you've got obviously the doll out and everything. So this is just in the top flap of the box, and the image of course is loads of strawberries on this kind of nice sort of blue background. So before we get onto the actual doll, I thought we'd have a look at the accessories that come in the box with her. So there's a few things here. First of all, we've got the doll stand. So this is a bright red, sort of a strawberry red, I suppose. And that just clips in. It's kind of one of the regular ones. So this one will go around her waist. So we've then got a pair of shoes. So these are an odd colour to me. They're not the most pleasant of brown colours, I don't think. We've got a kind of a wedge heel going on. They're almost kind of like high heels, but not quite. Obviously because the Blythe's feet aren't particularly sort of high-heeled themselves. We've got this bit that's going to go around the ankle, but there's no split or anything. You literally have to kind of put it through there. But the plastic it's kind of rubbery and a bit sort of malleable, I guess. As I say, they're not the prettiest shoes, put it that way. It would have been nicer if they'd maybe been sort of pink or maybe the blue colour to match the coat. But the fact that there's this sort of like, I don't know, sort of baby spew colour, I don't even know. I don't even want to think. But yeah, so these are the shoes. They're kind of okay. I think I've had this before, and they've not been the easiest shoes to deal with, unfortunately. They are two-tone, so obviously the top part is one kind of browny, greeny colour, and the bottom part, I suppose, is meant to look maybe wooden. There are sort of sculpted details on there, and they do have on the bottom an R and an L, just so you know which foot they're going on. On the strap part, which will go around the ankle, there is a little detail there of a buckle, and there's also holes as well, and the actual buckle is a different colour. So it does have some details, but so far I'm not a huge fan of the shoes, but I guess we'll see what they're like once they're on her. We've then got a pair of simple white tights. There's a little bit of stretch in them. I don't know how much of a pain they might be to try and get on her. As you might know, the Blythes actually have sort of quite rubbery legs, so they can sometimes be a bit of an issue when you're trying to get sort of tights and stuff on them, but we'll see. These are fine. I mean, obviously they're pretty plain. They've got elastic around the waist. There's no other fastening there. You know, they're all right. They're nicely sewn and everything. So that is those. So then got this hat, which is kind of beret style, I suppose. It's kind of white or cream. It's sort of segmented. I don't know what kind of fabric this is. It's kind of sort of like a thicker fabric. It's quite woolly, I suppose. We've obviously got this bright velvet red ribbon on the top, which is quite a nice addition. It might have been nice if they'd done it sort of green, so it looks like the stalky bit that's at the top of the strawberry, but maybe that's a bit too sort of literal, I don't know. Again, this is a nice piece. As I say, it's kind of sort of segmented as well. We've got this sort of Petersham band around it, which I'm guessing you're not meant to see. I think it's meant to be probably worn sort of so that is inside and around the head. But yeah, we'll see when we kind of get it on her how that goes. But yeah, so that is the hat. So finally we've got this, which is a really cute little coat. It's quite fleecy looking and feeling as well, so she will be quite warm in it. It's giving me sort of like sailor vibes, I think, because of this kind of collar. So this collar goes all the way around. So this is kind of like a sort of a sailor collar, but on both sides. So it's kind of like a big sort of square. And we've obviously got details around the edge as well, which is quite cute. The buttons on this coat are very nice as well, because they are strawberries. And there's sort of press studs there. There's 2 press studs. They don't particularly correspond with where the buttons are, which is a bit weird, I guess. But maybe it would have been a bit too much if they'd tried to sort of get those right behind where the buttons have been sewn on. Inside, we've got this sort of gingham lining, which again is quite a nice touch. Everything is very nicely sewn on this. Obviously, there's no raw edges or anything like that. The quality of the outfits and, you know, the individual accessories and stuff like that are normally pretty good with Blythe anyway. And obviously you are paying a bit more for them, I suppose. So you do kind of expect a bit more. Also on the sleeves here, we've got this white detail. And again, this is kind of like a woolly, fleecy sort of material. There is kind of a quite nice texture to all of this. The white, I would say, is a bit more sort of thready in that, you know, it's a bit longer than kind of the fleecy part of the actual coat, the main body of the coat. This, of course, is a really nice sort of blue colour, which is interesting considering the rest of her clothes, but we'll see how it looks on her. So that is the coat. And then we come to the doll. So, getting her out of the box and all the accessories was quite the task. I think if they make another Saw movie, maybe Jigsaw should pose the puzzle of people trying to get Blythe dolls out of the boxes without ruining the boxes, because I think it's impossible. It's just kind of annoying, I guess. And I suppose, you know, you could take your time and really try and sort of ease the sellotape up and try and push things through, and, you know, that's kind of easier said than done sometimes. There was a lot of tape on the back of that box. I don't know how you would have gotten, you know, it all out without sort of ruining some of the cardboard. But anyway, look, she's out. She's definitely not going back in the box. With these, I think if you're going to display them in the box, you can't remove them first, because it's going to be impossible to try and get them back in and looking nice in the same way, because by that point the box might be completely ruined. Now, the hair was in those 2 kind of like plastic sort of clear tubes, which I have removed. It doesn't seem amazing, but it might just need a bit of a brush. It's quite tangly by the looks of it. I can't remember what kind of hair she's meant to have. I don't know if it's meant to have a curl in it or not, but obviously I will be giving her a brush. What I might do, before I show you her face and everything properly, is I'm going to remove all of the plastic. So, just so you know, there's basically plastic around her head It goes all the way around. There's also plastic all on her body and underneath her dress as well. So you'll have to kind of remove everything, get the plastic off, and then she's kind of complete. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll come back and we'll have a look at her face properly. Okay, so I managed to get all the plastic off her. There was a lot, actually. There was a lot of plastic around her head and on her body. There seemed to be more plastic around her than she's possibly made of, which seems a little bit insane. Also, I did try and have a go at brushing her hair, but it just seemed to make it worse. The hair is not good. The hair is really, really not good. I already had a bit come off, so that wasn't really what I was expecting. But mine seems particularly tangled. I don't know what the experience is generally of this doll, but yeah, the hair for me seems to be quite messy. So rather than, you know, me trying to do something to the hair and finishing this video off, I thought I would actually just try and finish the video off and then have a go at trying to brush through the hair. So yeah, I'm not very happy with the hair. I think if this was my first Blythe, honestly, I don't know if I would get another one, only because the hair just seems particularly bad. I'm sure when I've opened other Blythes, I've had bad hair as well. So, you know, I can't particularly blame it on just her, but maybe I'm just kind of out of the habit. But anyway, look, the hair aside, I love the colour of it. It's a really nice, bright pink colour. I think it's supposed to be berry pink or something. So yeah, so that's the hair situation. I think it is meant to be slightly curly. So yeah, I'm going to have a go at that at a later date. Let's have a look at her face though. So here she is. So she is translucent. I've never had a translucent one before. It's a really interesting kind of quality to the skin. I think when they're sort of translucent, it looks, I don't know, it just looks kind of creamy and obviously shiny. And yeah, I don't know what it looks like when it's not on the face. You know, if I was to remove the faceplate, which I'm not going to be doing, I wonder, you can presumably see through it, but I really don't know. It's a very nice sort of look. And also it's kind of weird because obviously they've tried to do the same with the body as well. And it does all kind of match up. I don't know if you can properly see that really on camera, but certainly the head matches the body skin tone wise, and also with the whole sort of translucentness of it all. So she does have a very kind of pretty face up. She's got, I think, brown eyeshadow. If I close the eyes, you can maybe see them a bit better. So it's kind of like a bit brown around there. Eye chip wise, so she's got this blue pair here. So these are the regular blue colour. So it's a sort of a very dark blue, which is very nice. And they are the right facing ones. We've then got orange. That's front facing orange. We've then got these, which are kind of like a sort of aquamarine colour, but they're classed as peacock green left. I don't know if I'd call them peacock green, but they are very nice. It's kind of just like sort of a lighter blue, I suppose. And finally, we've got our old friend, the pink eye. The pink kind of looks okay, I think, because of her pink hair and everything. And also, she has pink blusher, as well as pink lips as well. I think she's got the sort of the plump lips, which is basically where they draw sort of around the lip to make it look a bit plumper, rather than, you know, it being a different face mould or anything like that. It actually looks alright. I don't have a problem with that. It seems to look fine. Obviously with these dolls, their articulation is pretty basic. So her head will go from side to side. Body-wise, the arms just kind of go up and down and around. She does have a waist articulation here. Whoops. So that will bend to or rather twist there. Leg-wise, the legs do come out at a sort of a 90-degree angle, and there's also clips at the knee. So there was 2 clicks there, which I think is all we're going to get. I thought for some reason that she had a manicure. I thought she had like a pink manicure, but she doesn't. I must have got it mixed up with someone else. Also, she doesn't have earring holes either, because she doesn't come with earrings. So I am going to go and have a little bit of a cry, and then after that I'm going to put all of her stock on her and we'll have a final look. Okay, before I actually show you her with the coat and the hat on, I did want to cover the dress up before I'd actually shown it to you. So the dress is actually very nice. It's obviously this pink colour with all these sort of strawberries all over it. There's a deep red frill all at the bottom of it, which is very nicely done. We have this waistband here. I guess it's a bit like a sort of a baby doll dress almost, as in that it's got kind of like a sort of an empire line waist, which is just kind of around where the breasts are. We've got a frill again around the shoulders and down the front. We've got little ribbons on the front as well there. The sleeves are sort of puffed sleeves, and again we've got a red band around the arm there. If we have a look on the back, so the frills don't go down the back there, but obviously the frill goes all the way around the back at the hem of the dress there, and we've just got Velcro at the back just to get it on or off. I've also put these shoes on as well, which are alright. I mean, the colour I don't understand at all, but we'll see how she does actually sort of stand in them in the stand at the end. So yeah, I'm going to get her little hat on and her coat, and we'll have a final look at her together. Okay, so here we go. So she's got the hat on. That was a struggle as well, so that's great. She's got the coat on. I would say when you are putting the coat on, just be careful about where you're putting the arms, because I thought one of the arms was actually in the sleeve of the coat, but it wasn't. It was literally just kind of like in the lining, which the actual lining of the coat doesn't go through to the sleeves. It's literally only the body part, and her arm was basically kind of just sort of trapped between the lining and the coat. So obviously just be careful of that. I kind of like the way that the skirt pokes out the bottom of it. I'm presuming that's how it's meant to go. The shoes at the bottom are okay. You have to have them on very kind of like specifically, and the foot has to be in there, you know, without kind of being at an angle, because if they are, then they'll just kind of, they'll not stay on basically. There's not a lot of room for the kind of the toes to fit at the front, and I think it probably makes it worse because she's also in the white stockings as well. As you can see, she doesn't have a stand because I was struggling to try and get the stand on and the coat, so just be aware of that. If I thought about it, I would have tried to have gotten the stand around her sort of dress and then put the coat on top. But by that point, I was pretty much ready to, you know, throw her across the room. I have to be completely honest here, and I don't know what your experience of this doll is. It might be better than mine has been. I am quite disappointed with this doll, only because the hair is just so horrible, and I kind of feel like that has sort of put a damper on the rest of it. Some of the things you can forgive. You can kind of forgive the fact that the shoes aren't, you know, amazing shoes, and it's hard to get the hat on so that it looks all right, and, you know, kind of clothes that don't fit quite as well as they should. Things like that you can forgive because you can literally remove the clothes. I can't remove her hair. I can, but, you know, it's not something I particularly want to do. One of the things I liked about this doll was the brightly coloured hair. You know, I like sort of fancy hair, and I thought the pink hair would be really nice. And the colour is lovely, but the tangles and everything are just awful. Yeah, I think it probably didn't help that the release after this one was Lavandula Babe, and I got her and I opened her I think in January of this year, and her hair was lovely out the box. It was so nice. It's also, you know, it's shorter than this, but again, it seems to have a sort of curl in it, and I didn't really have to do anything with it. It was lovely straight out the box. And the difference between that sort of experience and this one is very different. And I think this doll was more expensive than Lavender Babe was as well. It's a shame. It's kind of the first one I feel like I've been really annoyed at, but maybe if I look at other videos of me opening Blythes, my experiences might be quite similar. So what are your thoughts? Let me know what your experiences with this doll are in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of her. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please share the video if you know no one else who wants to be frustrated with me. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care. Bye.